So I'm going to be sharing with you the first step you have to do in order to become a homeowner instantly, where it actually gets pulled on, where actually you can see it, you can feel it, and you can achieve it. If you haven't attended my first time homebuyer seminar, please click on the link below and register. In order for you to become a homeowner, you have to stop looking at the news. You have to stop asking for questions in the external world. You have to stop for some magical event in order for you to purchase. You don't need to wait for anybody to tell you when you can buy. If you're waiting for someone to tell you, if you're waiting for some type of event, if you're waiting for prices to come down, for the market to get better, for everything to be perfect, you'll never be able to achieve it. One thing that I want you to get from this video, if there's anything you do, is to please stop watching the news, because the news is here to install fear in you. A lot of first-time homebuyers are paralyzed because they have fear, they are confused, and they're uncertain. So these 3 steps will actually guide you in the right path to instantly become a homeowner. I know I did it. So let me share my story with you of how I conquered that, because I also had fear, confusion, and uncertainty. And I learned this the hard way, by the way. When I was 16 years old, I started living on my own. I became independent right away. I had to not only just start living on my own and supporting myself, but I had to start learning very fast. You can imagine me being 16 and I had to become 30 right away. And the reason why I started living on my own, which some of you might have picked this up from my other videos if you've been watching my videos, is because I got pregnant at a very young age and I had to live on my own and take care of my son. So when I was 16 years old, 17 years old, I was a renter. And being a young renter, I would submit rental application to landlords, and most of the time they wouldn't even rent it out to me because they would assess me based on my life situation. And so I wanted to become a homeowner. I wanted to be independent. I wanted to have control of my future. I wanted to actually go into my home and being able to say, this is my home. I wanted to do a lot of things just being a homeowner. I wanted that empowerment that if I achieve this and work towards it, it's going to make me stronger. So I started reading a lot of books on how to achieve what you're looking for in life. And I applied it and I did it. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you. One of the things is you detach yourself from all the negativity, because the negativity is going to unconsciously get to you. It's basically like if you're on TikTok and you're looking at TikTok videos, let's say about puppies, then TikTok videos is going to give you more videos about puppies. So the same thing with the news. If you're looking at the news, it's all negative stuff about real estate. All these videos about the real estate market, that the real estate market is not worth it, prices are coming down, it's doom and gloom. That's what you're going to keep getting, and that actually is stopping you from achieving your dream of becoming a homeowner unconsciously. So we have to do this first step before we go out and learn about how the real estate market works. We have to do these first steps before we go out on learning about monthly mortgage payments, before learning out how interest rates work, before learning out what we need in terms of when it comes to buying a home, deposits, carrying costs, and closing costs. The first thing we need to do before we go out and talk to anybody, before we go out and get any information, is actually look inwards. What do you want from becoming a homeowner? You gotta attach a feeling. I know you want a house and I know exactly what the house you want, but what does it mean to you? So the first thing we need to get clear is vision. What is it that you're looking for as a homeowner? You need to find a reason. You need to find a purpose. You need to create a goal. You need to create a feeling. And when you create a feeling of empowerment that it's going to give you, this is what my feeling that I had. I wanted to be independent. You know, I didn't want to be assessed based on my life situation. I wanted to own my own house. I wanted to provide stability for my son. I wanted to take care of it was giving me an empowerment feeling of being a homeowner. It was giving me the feeling, if I can achieve this, it's gonna make me more powerful, more stronger, and I can be able to achieve anything. So I gave it a feeling and a meaning of security. So you have to find a reason as to why you want to become a homeowner. Once you attach a reason, once you attach a purpose, once you attach a goal, a meaning to it, then it's going to actually pull you. It's just gonna come to you, because now this feeling that you're feeling inside of becoming a homeowner is just going to drive you, and it's going to just direct you to where you want to go. First thing you gotta do before you go out and seek any information in the external world, maybe your parents, maybe your friends, your neighbors, the news, the real estate market, the realtor, you need to first ask yourself, what does it mean for you in becoming a homeowner? What is this going to do to your life? Once you know this, then you're able to go to number 2, and nothing can stop you. So give it a meaning, give it a reason, give it a purpose, give it a goal. Once you do that, then you'll be able to achieve homeownership instantly. Once you have a reason, once you have a purpose, once you have the goal that you want to achieve, a feeling inside you, then you can go to number 2, step number 2. Which is learn as much as you can about the real estate market. Attend seminars, attend webinars, read how the real estate market is behaving, read about mortgage payments, read about interest rates, read about property taxes, read the process of buying a home from A to Z. Why am I saying learn as much as you can? Because when you are learning and you know the steps on how to get from A to Z, when you know how to bake a cake, then that will give you the confidence to actually go out and do it, because you're not afraid no more. It's not like you're at the edge of something and you're gonna jump and you don't know where you're going to fall. But now, because you are learning, you're doing so much research, you know how the prices are, you know what area you wanna look into. Because you are learning, it's giving you that confidence. So that's what I did. So after me putting a vision to why I wanted to become a homeowner, and it's not only just happening to me, it happens to every person that buys a home. It happened to all my clients. It happened to everybody that I know. Then I went out and I started reading books. I started reading books of how to buy a home, how to invest in a home, what are the payments that I need to do when you own a home. It's not just only learning about deposit and pricing. No, you need to know deposit, closing cost, and carrying cost. You need to know all this in detail. You need to know all the process. That's why I tell people, even if you're not thinking about buying a home, just go out and seek that information, because what will happen is you're unconsciously programming your brain to learn this, because you're becoming a homeowner, and naturally you get pulled. So learn as much as you can, because it will bring you confidence. Step number 3. And remember, all these steps you're seeing here is before you go out and talk to anybody. At this time, you're just going internally, you're going inwards. You are just basically asking yourself all these questions. Number 3 is finances. And this is what does it for most people. This is where now, after having your vision, after you learn, then you go into your finances to see how your finances are able to cover in order to buy a home, pay the closing cost, and be able to afford the carrying costs. This is what did it for me. So of course I was saving and I was researching, I was seeing how much homes were for in the area that I was renting at that time, and I discovered right away I wasn't able to afford it where I was living. So what I did is I looked outside the city. So I started looking in Vaughan, and I ended up buying a home in Vaughan, and I got spreadsheets. I entered what I had in savings, I entered my income, how much I was able to afford, and I got that from learning, right? Because I went out and I learned about the real estate market. And once I saw that I was able to afford the deposit, the closing cost and the carrying cost, it confirmed for me that I was ready to become a homeowner, because now I had the confidence to say, I can buy a home. Now I had the confidence to say, I can be a homeowner. Because once you see the numbers in your finances, now you can say, I'm ready to go out and start looking at home and start buying my home. These 3 steps is what's going to pull you. It's what's going to guide you. It's what's going to move you to become a homeowner. And it's going to give you the confidence that you need. A lot of first-time home buyers are paralyzed because they just keep listening to the news, which is all negativity. They have fear. They have confusion, and they're uncertain. They're waiting for something to happen in order for them to come out and buy a home. No, once you do this, you will not have fear, you will not have confusion, you will not have uncertainty. What you will have is you will have the courage to go out and start looking for your home. It will give you the clarity to say, you know what, I can afford it, I can buy it now, because you know exactly what you can afford. And most importantly, you will be certain that right now is the time to be a homeowner. And I want to leave you with one more message, and I'm sure you've heard this from everybody, that the best time to buy a home was yesterday, and the second best time was today. Let me tell you exactly what that means. The reason why I say to everybody, even if my kids were to ask me, Mom, when is the best time to buy a home? I say today. And the reason why I say today, without even looking at the market, without even looking at anything else, is because when you do it today, you're able to achieve it. But if you are waiting for a perfect time, or you're delaying it, or procrastinating, or you're leaving it to tomorrow, then you'll never do it. That's why the best time to buy a home is today.